Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Out of Bounds on a Sunday, brought to you by the Front and Centre podcast, your home of beer betting, ball sports, and bands since 2023. I'm Brownie. Novak, or Jesus, is on his way. He's got spinning wheels. Surprise, surprise. The man has internet issues. Who would have thought? So this is, and that's him messaging me now. So this is our little kind of spin-off for half an hour. So while your wife is in the other room like mine is watching maths, hopefully we can entertain you a bit with a rundown of what's happened over the last round, Sunday night footy. Sunday night, end of footy. So let's get into it straight away. We'll basically run through what's been happening with injuries and suspensions and people getting fines and the winners and the losers and who looks good, who doesn't. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy the ride. Hopefully, as I said, it gets you away from half an hour of maths, but that's up to you guys whether you want to be part of it. So I'm going to dive straight in because, as I said, Novak, he's on his way. He is going to join us at some point. The man's been down at Bunbury the last few days, and he's in some struggle town, and I can add him now. He's here. I think here he is. He's joined us. Novak, welcome. You're dead silent, and he's gone. He's walked away. He's marched off straight away. He's gone. I don't know where he's going, so I'm going to get started. As I said, we don't really have much time to waste in this half an hour, so hopefully he's pointing at stuff. I don't know what he's doing. He's still got to connect his mic, so I'll start us off. Swans Hawks. Let's start with that. Oh, he's been disconnected. Swans Hawks. Let's start with that. That was the Friday night game. The Hawks got the job done down in Sydney, so good on them. Well done to them. I had the Swans winning that, so I'll be the first to put my hand up and say that I was wrong. And probably, if you have been listening to this podcast, probably not the first time that I've been wrong. Been wrong many other times, and will be in the future as well. A few notable performances. Will Day was on fire. 26 touches, 3 goals, 6 tackles from Will Day. Not having Errol Goulding for the Swans, how much did that actually hurt them? James Sicily went forward for them, and on Thursday, we've got to add Novak back. He's back. I on Thursday basically said that I don't know. Can you hear me? Are you back, Novak? Can you actually hear? Can you see what's going on?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We're on. We're live. We're 3 minutes in. But we're just talking about. I've started already. We're talking about the Hawks Swans game. I basically saying some notable performances like Will Day, 26 touches, 3 goals, 6 tackles, superstar. Obviously, the Swans missing Errol Goulding's huge, but I was just saying that first to put my hand up, maybe your team's biggest weakness is their strength. So James Sicily going forward, we talked about that. You messaged me saying that my boy Jack Frost, Sam Frost, was the sub. And
what that, by the way? What was that?
Well, that gave Sis the opportunity to go forward. So as a Hawthorn fan, is perfect because no, it's a big no. You're shaking your head. No. Why?
No.
Would you prefer Battle to go forward, or because you need someone else down there? You're not going to have Marby or Chol, just him.
No, but obviously I would have played Gunston instead of Frost.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you look at our forward line, how it functioned on the game, so Hawks supporter, as you can see, got my scarf. Let's go.
Yes.
The Wizard did nothing on the weekend. Sam Wicks absolutely blanketed him. And all I said we need from Chol is to compete and make a contest. And that's all he did. It was fantastic. So I sort of precursored with the smaller forward line. Getting goals from midfield would be vital. And obviously Will Day kicked 3 goals. I think might have been 4 goals for the whole of last year. And he got 3 in one game.
Yep.
So
how long was Will Day out for last year? Because he was injured.
About half the year.
Okay, yeah. Huge out for him, right? Like he everyone going into the Hawthorn season, even we talked about him. We talked mainly about the backline. We didn't really talk about the midfield. Like, we didn't talk much about Will Day. It's more Will Day's back. Like, it was never anything huge. But after that performance, like, is he your main man now? Has he stepped up to be your main man? And has he always been your main man?
He's been the guy, but he just hasn't got his body right. Obviously, Newcomb is vital for us as well. And Warple was having a fantastic game, and it looks like he might have a syndesmosis, so he could be out. But the midfield is somewhere we bat deep. Like, no Josh Ward at all. Cam McKenzie can go through there. Dylan Moore runs through there. Connor Nash runs through there. Harry Morrison had an all right game. He was one that was on a bit of the cusp and couldn't get a game last year. He went well. But I think the key for us was Lloyd Meek. The Peel Thunder Lloyd Meek was back, and he absolutely dominated Brodie Grundy,
so
which I think
I've got that here. Yeah, 14 touches, 2 goals, and 10 of those 14. Let's not even the touches, the hit outs here, but 10 of those touches were contested. But 14 touches and 2 goals from a dominating ruckman. As you said, Peel Thunder Lloyd Meek he was there last year and he's continuing on this year.
Yeah. And they've found him, as we've said multiple times, found him the right role. Solo ruck only, none of this sitting in the forward line. And if we had like Ned Reeves just isn't a forward either. So we can't run, the way Fremantle run with Jackson and Darcy or Liam Reedy. And we can't run how some of these other clubs do. So having Meek just solo ruck, let him go, and put Chol in there for like just a chop out for him, I think it's fantastic. But I think the thing with that game is that when the game was on the line, Sydney were pressing us. Like, Chad Warner was playing a very, very good game, but our structure held up. So I think the real key for us moving forward is we need to continue to build on games like this where, as I said, if we're ever going to beat Sydney, this was it. They're on their short prep, and we played well. So our structure held up. And considering we got, I think, nothing from Ginnivan or Watson or Connor McDonald to some extent, they are the driving force of our forward line with their run up and ground and run back behind the ball. And when we got onto the bigger grounds like the MCG, I think that's really going to help us.
Well, Guinea got on the catwalk, but like that night, or was it the day before or the night after? I've seen him on the catwalk, so at least he got there for you. Connor Nash, I've got a big tick for Connor Nash as well. I thought he did an awesome job for you boys.
Yeah, he plays a real role for us. So he's our big banger in the midfield. Every midfielder needs like a big body, right? And he's our big body. So he's cleaned up his possession. He has a good tank. He can run with rolls, but he works in really well with our clearances. Our clearance system when you've got, Nash, Newcomb, Day, Warple, some bigger guys there. And like a lot of these guys now are into sort of the primes of their careers where we've still got the kids coming through with McKenzie and Ward and that to, really shore up our midfield. But Nash has definitely got an important role in our team.
Yeah. So as a Hawthorn fan, we'll take off the kind of analytical factor here. As a Hawthorn fan, you thought you overachieved last year. Are you just taking that as, well, it's round 0, we'll just take that one, we'll move on? Or are you looking at that game going, wow, because they came at you in the third quarter, but the fourth quarter you boys went, no thank you, and you put the foot down and you went away. Are you sitting there going, yeah, all right, I might have changed my mind a little bit here? Or are you going, no, let's wait a couple more weeks and then we'll make the call?
Look, I think there's a minor overreaction after one game of the season. We are now flag favourites. So let's just put a pin in that and say that was a good performance. We take it to the bank. We bank our early win, which is something we're going to need to do with the harder draw we've got this year. But it's a long season. I like to keep the lid firmly attached, and it is not even looked at a millimetre of movement on the lid right now.
Yeah. Fair call. So we'll quickly now move on to the other game because we've got you sent me a message today which your mates sent you, and we need to discuss that before this podcast finishes, which we will discuss more on Thursday night, but it needs to be touched on. We're hurting, but we're doing bad things to people left, right and center. We
if you want something bad to happen to someone, tell us and we'll back them in. And something will go wrong.
Yeah, but we'll get to that in a sec. So then today's game, GWS Pies. The Pies. They were in struggle town. They were hurting, literally hurting.
So I'm not going to say I told you so, but those old legs in the midfield are very slow, and the tsunami was flowing all the way through the center of NG Stadium. It was amazing. Finn Callaghan had an absolute ripping game. And considering they lost their ruckman Briggs, who's their only real big ruckman now, so they had to go with the backup option, Lockie Keefe. Darcy Cameron was almost best on. He had a really good game for the Pies. But you could see with the run and carry through the middle, the Pies, I mean, they didn't kick great, so you've got to give them that. They could have been a lot closer. But the run and carry through the midfield was awesome. When the kid with the lid, Jones, got on his bike and got up the ground, like no one was getting anywhere near him. And I think it was really good signs for the Giants when you consider no Hogan, no Riccardi, no Stringer, and they has
no Tom Green as well.
Yeah, Grzeski and Cadman. If they actually marked the football because they dropped a stack of easy chances, they could have made that a much more of a spanking, but they looked really impressive. Sam Taylor is an absolute superstar of the AFL. He was dominating.
Second ever goal and first goal kicker. If you had him, you'd be laughing, wouldn't you?
Yep.
But
intercept
how good is he? Yeah.
Oh, he's sensational. We've been all over when he obviously had the testicle injury that set him back. Set him back. But he is just fantastic and he structures them up so well. But he gets other players involved as well. But I think the exciting thing is your boys, the Saints, offered Callaghan, 17 million or something for 10
Maybe
years.
Maybe he's worth it. Everyone laughed at him. Maybe he's worth it.
Well, off what you've seen today, he is a star. And I think Josh Kelly was really good as well. But it goes to show
or something.
Yeah, he was really good. And just goes to show like the Callum Wards and the Caniglios don't need to get it done for them anymore. And they've been the guys that have been there for a very long period of time to help carry them through. But I think, the thing you touched on, there was a lot of players out there getting cramp. And Dacos was cramping in the third quarter. I think, Lockie Whitfield was cramping. I don't know whether it's maybe just more humid day in Sydney, got a few people, but you can't be. It just goes to show, right? Like, obviously, Nick Dacos has obviously had a bit of an interrupted preseason with his plantar fascia issue. Maybe he hasn't been able to get the run into his legs that he needed to continue his hot form from last year. I think they said on the coverage that he polled in 18 of his last 20 games Brownlow medal votes, and he was nowhere near his Brownlow medal best today.
Do you think any of that as well they put a bit of a tag on him as well? Do you think any of the physicality might have got to him as well? I'm not saying physicality, I guess, makes you cramp, but obviously the energy that you have to put in to get away from that physicality, and the wasn't a hard tag, but it was a tag that they put on him. Do you think that had anything to do with him? I haven't seen it, but I've seen Kane Corns has already had a go at Dacos, and whether that's about the tag or I'm not sure. But do you think that affected him at all in that game?
Look, I don't think so. I think he's been getting that sort of attention most of his career, so I don't think it had too much effect. I think it was more the fact his body couldn't take him to where he needed to go. There were times where he was chasing and there was nothing in his legs. There was a play where he got the ball and he was running up the wing and he handballed. And when he handballed, his legs just seized and he was just done. So I just think he's had a bit of an interrupted preseason. And when people have interrupted preseasons, it makes a difference. And he just wasn't his explosive best today, but he wasn't the reason why they did not win. I mean, Perryman was Perryman, Josh Dacos.
I would say Perryman's serviceable. Like first game, like well done. He did well, but I wouldn't say
he had a fair bit of it. He had a fair bit of it. And Darcy Cameron was obviously very good. Josh Dacos was pretty good. But
yep,
I don't know. The forward line, it's pretty suspect. Membry, Passenger, Mychek wasn't great. McCreary didn't do much.
He went down back.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, not
Bobby
McCreary. Sorry,
Goodluck.
not McCreary. McStay went down back, not McCreary.
Yeah, he did.
So McStay is definitely not the answer. So what is their answer here? Like, are they playing too tall? Because I think it's more of a concern that their best forward was their ruckman, who was possibly one of their best players. And I think that's a cause of concern that your best forward's your ruckman, and your ruckman, obviously you want him in the middle of the ground and tapping the ball down and feeding your midfielders. You don't want him to go forward. But he was your best forward. He looked good down there.
Yeah. I mean, you look at these touches. Membry 8, McStay 7, Mychek 9.
What Lockie Schultz do? He's
Bobby Hill,
he was missing goals left, right, and centre.
But they were all missing goals. Like Schultz 10, very different to what the Hawthorn forward line looks like. They get a lot more stats. They push up the ground. I just think it's an Achilles heel. I said, I've got Collingwood in the gun, and these old legs just didn't have the run to go with the Giants' fresh legs.
Yeah. They looked very, very off. And speaking of looking off, the NG Stadium or whatever it's called, that did not look good. It looked ugly ground, like the state of that ground.
They did have Green Day on Wednesday.
So it's Green Day. So bloody Green Day.
So I don't know why these stadiums, like, I mean, when Rhea Ripley was over here, we gave them like weeks. That was in February.
Yeah, but Rhea Ripley still ripped that
exactly
for months.
They gave weeks. Like, this is like half a week.
Yeah,
insane.
But speaking of GWS quickly, so I listened to, I think it was the Sunday Rub or whatever it is this morning, and they were saying that Adam Kingsley basically was really, really stern with Jakey Stringer when he came over. So the standards that they're setting over at GWS are like enormous. And he came back from the off season. He had lost weight, but his skin folds were larger, which, hey, I'm not one to judge people on skin folds. If it was me, it would be like Homer Simpson when he would like breathed out and the whole skin fold grabbed his guts.
When he was trying to get disability pension, he was wearing a muumuu.
Yes, that one. Yes, exactly right. But it's just good that they're the standards that they're giving someone. As soon as he walks through the door, it's like, mate, this is where we're at. And if you're not at those standards, walk out the door. And they're being tough. And as I said to you, I sent you a message today. They looked on. They looked fierce. They looked strong and they looked fit.
Hey, I had them right up there in the top 4 this year. I wanted to tip them in my top 2, but I sort of stuck with Sydney. Obviously, again, it's one grand, it's knee jerk, but I'm kind of wishing I put GWS instead of Sydney in there. But we digress. It's one game. We don't jump to conclusions. But yeah, they look good, and they're only going to get better when you add a Coleman medalist back into that forward line and a A-grade midfielder in Tom Green.
Yeah, that's right. Like, they're going to be scary. Quickly,
I was just going to say for the Pies, Dan Houston back, I think is going to be really key for them. Next week he's back, so hopefully he can provide some extra grunt in that midfield mix to help improve their game. But I guess when Dacos was out, it just didn't happen for him at all today.
No, it didn't. They're definitely a watch already, the Pies, but as I said, we can get more into that on Thursday night. So as a quick rundown is all this is. So we still got 10 minutes, so let's quickly jump forward to next week. We don't want to preview any games. As I said, we'll do that all on Thursday night, but there's some ripper games going on next week. We'll call it round 1. It is round one. It is round 1, but let's call it like the start of the season. And in saying that, though, the Friday night game, Hey, I was about to say that in Friday night. Look, I've got you. Look, it's right here. Got my Hawk stuff. That Friday night game, the AFL couldn't have wanted anything more than that game opening the season, because that was actually a really, really good game.
It was a good game.
And Thursday night, they've got They got the Blues taking on the Tigers. Now, we're going to be talking about that game on Thursday.
Well, it's going to finish by the time we start recording. I would say.
So how
4:30 start is way too early for football for us.
So how much are the Blues going to win by?
Well, I'd say it'd be 15 goals. Charlie Curnow is out, so he is not playing. So that obviously will assist them.
Debut for Lucas Camporelli. Yep.
Yes. Good for him to get his debut. But I still think if the Blues are where we're thinking they're going to be, which is on the up from last year, they should be winning this by 15 goals. It'll be interesting to see how many first gamers Richmond play. I'm reading about 3 or 4. Looks like I think it's Laylor. They don't say. I think it's Laylor. I'll have to search that. The number 1 picks.
He's the one with the jaw that Jimby pushed.
Correct. Yeah, I think he'll be in. Trainer looks like he will be playing as well, and there might be a couple more. So it'll be very funny to see what they do because, as I said, Uze, it's tough. It's going to be grim, and if they come out and lose by 20 goals, it's going to be a tough road ahead for them.
That's a hard sell, isn't it? A few more I want to touch on. Freo Geelong, that's a good game too.
Yeah, obviously Freo have a good record at GMHBA. They've won some good games down there, and again, Geelong, they get very hard to beat. They're very, very, very hard to beat. The way that their structure and they have, it's interesting to see where Tom Stewart goes because he was playing a bit more midfield. But I think they have a plethora now with Bailey Smith coming in. They've got Mitch Nevitt, who's getting more time. It's going to be a good challenge for Freo to see where they're at. They looked okay in the preseason. So, it'll be game on. Brayshaw obviously re-signed, I think a 6-year deal. So he's another one to that long list of people that Fremantle have got locked away. So
that's right.
It will be, be a good game. And Sydney-Brisbane's going to be a good game as well.
And the Dogs need a win, don't they? The Dogs are playing North. North have got a chance, but my boys, the Dogs, I think they're good enough to get that job done.
Treloar might be back sooner rather than later, but are they good enough? Man, like they have plenty of outs. But for your sake, I hope they show up and do get the job done for you. Otherwise, it's going to be a long podcast for you in 2 weeks' time if they get rolled.
Now we've seen the Pies play. And we've both got Port sliding. So that makes an interesting Saturday night game, right? That's going to be really interesting.
It does. Look, Port have to show something in this game because the Pies were terrible. And if Port don't turn up and the Pies get them easily, I said the coaching, the succession plan, if I was a Port supporter, I'd be very antsy about this year.
Scared. The Saints are playing Adelaide at 9:30 our time on Sunday morning, so it's an interesting time slot. And then a few other games after that, and it rounds out. We got Melbourne playing. Who are Melbourne playing?
Melbourne are playing. Where are we? They've got the Giants at the G.
Yeah. And then it rounds out with the Eagles playing Gold Coast over here, which is interesting. So we'll see how that goes. But as I said, we got about 6 minutes to go, and we have to do. Well, I want to ask you a few things. Are you happy with John Newcomb getting $10,000 fine for tripping?
It's pretty silly, to be honest.
Yeah,
like $10,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah,
a lot.
Fourth time, though. Apparently, fourth time he's been done for it.
I know.
Serial tripper.
That would be a suspension, but
yes.
Yeah, $10,000 is a lot of money.
And I want to know, because if anyone would know, you would know as a Hawthorn man and you would follow it. Has anything actually come out confirming syndesmosis? Do we know anything more? No,
not yet. I'd say he obviously would have flown back possibly Saturday. And he's probably gone in for scans. So they're probably going to get them tomorrow, but it doesn't look great from what people are saying. Apparently, I'm not looking great. Hi, my name's Costa said, you look cast on YouTube. Big weekend.
Well, you did have a big weekend, and I was talking to everybody about that before you came on. We do have a little bit of time, so you can tell the people, how was your Friday and Saturday? What happened? How did we go? You made it back, so I'm proud of you for doing that. Good job.
Yeah, well, they've just given votes on best on. 3 votes King, 2 votes Novak, 1 vote Smith. Yeah, solid.
Very good.
We'll go
Good.
into more details when we have more time on Friday, but Bruce ran well.
Yeah.
Big day, big night, big day and night. Yeah, there was a fair bit happening.
And more importantly, the pyramid got the job done, but we'll get to that in a second.
Pyramid get the job done. Well done to yourself and Senso and Stars and Brittany, which we'll get to in a second.
Well, that's what I was going to get to. I was going to get to that right now. So I was almost going to say Varley, Brittany, but not Varley. Brittany.
Oh God, don't say that.
No, Brittany. This podcast, we needed to get a witch doctor in or something. So would you like to, can tell the people what you received and you sent me.
Yeah, so it seems as though we were talking to Brittany Taylor. She was a fantastic guest. We got great feedback. So definitely thankful for her time. But she's going to have a lot more time on her hands. She was doing, from what I've been told, she told us she was going to New Zealand for the big Group 1 day and the slot race over there. And she was doing an interview on horseback, and I believe a horse has flipped on her, and she's broken her leg in 2 places. So she is over in hospital in New Zealand as we speak, I believe.
So get better, Brittany. We're sorry. We're sorry, Brittany. We are.
Got another one.
It's
actually pandemic proportions right now. If you are in any way pumped up on our podcast, things just go wrong. Collingwood are going to be fantastic this year, you know.
I know,
Pendlebury.
we both just said Collingwood are terrible. Watch them win the flag now.
Yeah.
Who did we spin the wheel for? Geelong. So if you're on Geelong for the flag, then put that in the bin. Done. Good. So we'll round it out quickly. I've got one more thing, and I don't know whether you can see this, but I'm going to show the people, which there's only one person watching, but that's okay. Let me see. So this, I'm going to play this. Where is it? I'm looking for this. And if you can do it live,
Pyramid.
A little bit lackluster, but that's all right.
Well, without notice, it was very hard, and I missed the timing a bit. So
it plays it
back again.
I got to remember that on this website, it just keeps
going.
So what I've got up here is I'm doing the pyramid for this show, the Sunday, Out of Bounds on a Sunday. By the way, Out of Bounds on the Sunday. Shout out to Daniel Pike, Pikey. Man, Pikey, I asked him if he wanted to come on the Front Center podcast years ago, and he said, "No, we'll do our own ones. We'll call it Out of Bounds on a Sunday." So, shout out to Pikey. This is a little nod to that man. So I'm doing the pyramid the way it originally started, and we're going for a 10% investment every single time. And if you are looking at this, can you see this? By the way, what's up?
I see a spinny wheel. That's all I see.
Oh, okay.
Hey, here we go. All right. Yeah, I've got you now.
Yeah, so I had the biggest sweat in that GWS Collingwood game. So I had the free $10. This is on Better. So we had the free $10 bet, which we put on the bonus bet, which we put on the Cats to win. And I thought, what could we do with the other 10? So instead of wasting it on a dog or a horse or something, I'm going to try and build it like the old school pyramid. So Friday night we had Sydney Hawthorn, both teams to score 50 points. Yes, at $1.10. So we won $1 there. Well done, everybody. Yep. And then today we had GWS Sydney versus Greater Western Sydney versus Collingwood. Both teams to score 50 points. Yes.
Pies get 52.
52. So I was terrified thinking that we were going to be done there. So
and they missed a lot of easy shots too.
Yes. So again, I thought, classic. There's going to be a game where we score 49. I'm not touching. I'll think about the Thursday game, but all we need to get is 200 wins, and that gets us 1.7 million. So that's what I'm going for. We can do it, I believe.
Let's just go for 3, and then we'll build from there.
One step at a time. Thursday night, this is what I want to do on Sundays, right? Because as I said, we can't do Thursday night preview. We did a little bit of a preview there. What I want from you, first goal kicker Thursday night.
Oh, gee. First goal kicker Thursday. Well, in theory, you'd say Carlton. Let's go Ben Mackay.
Okay. I'm going to go with Jesse Motlop, first goal kicker.
Will he even get a game?
So probably not. So, but if he does, for everybody out there, don't bet Ben Mackay first goal kicker or Jesse Motlop first goal kicker, because it's not going to happen. But look, that was it. That's it. Half an hour. That's all I wanted. Just a quick little spiel. Obviously, we're going to have a bit more to talk about next week when there's more games to talk about. Hopefully, you're in a little bit of a better state of mind next week. Novak, have you got a big weekend next weekend? Is Bruce running next Saturday, or you got a week off?
It'll be 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So, it'll be very quiet. No basketball or races for the first time in God knows how long. So hopefully, I can have a bit of a quieter weekend with some relaxation and maybe some exercise and some fruit or something, because there was so much food and beers drunk. Like, I literally looked at my bank account and oh boy, it was a blowout. So cheers for the boys down from Southwest Milcombe, Big John, and a few of the other guys who ran into down there. It was a ripping day. Some funny stories. So definitely not safe for work on the podcast, but I can share with a few off there, some corkers.
Good. All right, that's us done, everybody. Out of bounds on a Sunday, done and dusted. Half an hour. If you liked it, let us know.
We need a whistle to be like.
Also, let us know. So I've got the classic outro music playing. So, if you jumped online, the one person that's watching, thank you very much.
That's probably
this is what we're going to do.
I said I look like absolute trash.
Otherwise, jump on Sundays is where we'll be. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Actually.